Honorable Chair, respected audience, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Karishma Amjad, PhD researcher in Institute of Social Welfare and Research, University of Dhaka. My paper title is Land Ownership of Climate Migrants in Dhaka City Slum. Bangladesh is currently experiencing the growing phenomenon of environmental migration, with rural-urban migration increasing meaningful, leading to rapid and unplanned urbanization in city centers such as Dhaka. Climate migrant starts living in urban slums to search better and secure life, but urban slums located mostly in low-lying environmental hazards are coupled with inadequate facilities like food, shelter, sanitation, healthcare. This makes their life even worse. Though the story takes place in Korail, the largest informal settlement in Dhaka, it is not exclusive to that location. In the following 30 years, that number is expected in increase to 3 billion people. The area of Coral Slum is approximate 100 areas. It is located at Mohakali in Dhaka city. The solo scenario of the Coral Slum category of dwellers and landowners is different. Over the last 40 years, landlords and municipality authorities have gradually constructed their home and urban facilities to offer service like gas, electricity, and water. They have self-organized. Non-government organizations have frequently offered significant assistance to aid in this process. This is the purpose of my study. The aim of the study to explore the housing ownership situation of climate migrant in the urban slum of Dhaka city. Following the aim, the study specially address the following purposes: to explore the present housing situation in Dhaka city slum, to understand process of owning a house in Dhaka city slum, to identify the challenge of the financial phase of land ownership and building housing in the city slum. This is the methodology of my study. Actually, I want to follow both approaches, qualitative and quantitative. This is the research, my research site is Coral Slum Mohakali, and the study followed the convenience sampling using Cochrane formula. And the data collection technique is face-to-face interview and use semi-structured interview schedule. A total of 68 climate migrant and 68 non-climate migrant participants have been interviewed. And you can see here the location map that Coral Slum Mohakali, and the respondents belong to the age 20 to 50 years, and collected data processed with the help of Excel 2016. And 5 respondents interviewed as an individual case to represent here. And I'm going to the findings of the study. Actually, the reason of migration, that is more than 42% respondents left their place of origin for repatriation, and more than 23% of migrants are for cyclone. And rest of the respondents migrated for no agriculture work available during the off-season like Monga period. And most of the respondents lost their income source after their climate effect. They lost their house and living land, and cultivated land are damaged. Work availability and kin network played a very important role for choosing migration place or city. And day by day, the proportion of migration increased for climate change. And this is the present socioeconomic condition of the respondents, that is average number of family member, that is 4 to 7 people, and the percentage of families in the families with children is more than the adults. And actually 65.3% dwellers are rented in this slum, and 40.2% respondents earned 12,000 to 15,000 Taka in a month. And they are actually doing 2 types of jobs, that is formal job and another one is informal job. Third grade office employee, garments worker, and social worker is a formal job, and informal job are, that is house of office maid, rickshaw puller, vendors, business in Coral Slum area, or day labor. And actually all of the respondents work in the area of Coral Slum, and they actually access mode of working place for working, some of them using boat also. And the material of the house is cemented floor, tin wall, and corrugated iron sheet. And the size of the house is approximately 90 or 100 square feet. And the monthly rent, actually most of them paid for the monthly house rent is like 4,000 to 5,000 Taka in a month. Okay. And duration of the tenancy for involvement in housing process, that is, most of the respondents who live in a rented house migrated 1 to 5 years ago, and those who migrated 16 to 20 years ago, rented tendency is less among them. It is therefore obvious that the length of time spent in Dhaka does not play a significant role in land or house ownership. As a result, it is challenging to draw a connection between the length of tenancy and home ownership. The main influencing factor of owning a house in the Coral slum is the loss of land or property in the village. Actually, they do not have a chance to go back to their place of origin actually, and the improvement of financial sustainability and a strength trigger to buy a house, and social network help to get a plot in a convenient location. And the participation in the selection of launch shows the reduction hierarchy for the selection process. Generally, people prefer to purchase their land through their interaction. At the same time, they also get help from their friends, family. Sometimes they also get help from their neighbors to get general ideas about the land. In the study area, the majority of the tenants prefer to select their land by themselves to purchase. And the increases in income motivated tenants to become owners, and people with monthly incomes between 15,000 to 20,000 prefer to purchase their own land or house in Coral slum from local leaders. And a time-based agreement was made with the local leaders. By purchasing the land, some of them earned very little, however managed loan and bought land or house. 10 years before, it was easy to get land from the local leaders even though they earn less finance. And this is the participation of housing ownership process, that first of all they save money, they negotiate with friends and family members and relatives also, and then they select site and purchase land. In the meantime, they also arrange the loan from relatives or the loan from the microcredit cooperative organization. Then they construct the house, and they also arrange the feedings and other services also. And I want to present two case study. Then if you hear that, I think you can get a good idea about the situation of the ownership. And the one is 50 years of women stated that after cyclone, her husband migrated alone in Dhaka city, and she tried to survive to stay their place of origin with his family. And of 6 months later, all of them followed her husband. Before moving to Coral slum, they stayed few months in another slum in Dhaka. After 5 years to struggle, they got an opportunity to get a land from the local leaders. At the same time, they arranged money from many relatives and in community cooperative microcredit organization, and purchased a land and built a house within a 1 lakh. And another story is about 48 years old woman mentioned that a long time ago her husband passed away by the river relation, and her son and daughter, and she left the place of origin because of they lost everything. And after coming to the Coral slum, they suffered a lot, and having a few opportunity for their life and livelihood. Sometimes somehow she arranged her daughter wedding with a rickshaw puller, and he is a hard worker and worthy. And he arranged marriage, managed to one piece of land with 10 house within 4 lakh from local leaders. And this land is government cash land, and the government can take over the land at any time. As a result, the fear of losing their home will always be there. And I'm going to the discussion. The majority of the tenants in Dhaka city slum are migrated from the multiple districts. They are staying in the city slum as a tenant for a long time. However, the reason of the respondents from Coral slum decided to own a house who lost everything in their place of origin. And owning a house is a complicated process which is synchronized by various socio-economic factors. The factors involved from the desire to own a house to complication. However, it is very difficult to identify the specific time when someone gets involved in the house ownership process. And the study identified that the tenants faced the thousands of problems from the house owners, and maximum of the rental house have an inadequate floor space problem, high density with the congested place, and a lack of other services. And most of the respondents spent nearly 50% of their monthly income for rent, and these factors also enforce the tenant to own a house. However, most of them do not have the ability to do so. And the study findings also they reflect that the tenants control the housing, and the study shows usually it takes about 10 to 12 years to own a house. And however, this period varies substantially. Some tenants do not have the desire to own a house. For some migrants, it takes more than 20 years. And I want to represent some recommendations. That is, unprivileged people in slum area should be provided essential government assistance during a particular period, and decentralization of some settlement to nearby cities can be considered. National Housing Authority should be continued to be the overseers of the national housing strategy and focus on the policy and regulatory role rather than the implementing housing projects. And the promotion of long-term financial facility and national saving scheme for housing should be introduced for slum people. And slum removal, cookie cutter high rise, periphery relocation, and back to village scheme are example of convenient planning method that expose to the further settlement of urban slum. And thanks all of you for listening to me. And I want to give thanks to the second International Conference Social Work and Sustainable Social Work Development 2013 Authority for giving me an opportunity to represent my paper in this seminar. Thank you.